Do you guys have any opinions on the Open D&D movement that's currently happening in the fandom?
Matthew Mercer is an improv genius, and he is hesitating hard when asked about Open D&D. Fortunately, the wonderful Marisha Ray steps in to save him, and she expands on Critical Role's official stance on Open D&D, and maybe, perhaps, developing their own RPG? We're gonna check this out because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and if you somehow haven't heard, Critical Role is the multi-million-dollar entertainment and gaming company founded and run by an amazing group of creative and welcoming voice actors who, through their actual play D&D show, have shown tens of millions of people what it's like to play D&D. Sort of. We all know Critical Role has an incredible production value and features charming and hilarious trained actors, so it's far from your average role-playing game experience, but it cannot be overstated how much these quote-unquote nerdy-ass voice actors have boosted the D&D brand since their show began in 2016. They've collaborated with Wizards of the Coast on at least 2 D&D 5e official books. They've created the most popular TTRPG-inspired animated series ever. And maybe not if you count Adventure Time.
Is Flame Princess evil? Or maybe chaotic neutral?
But Critical Role is a titan in the role-playing game industry, now with their own publishing house, Darrington Press, and they have a huge stake in this OGL Open D&D debate because they make a lot of money producing their own books, some of which include the Open Gaming License version 1.0a. So Critical Role initially released this statement about it, which doesn't really say anything. They did close it with, "We commit to fostering an environment that allows everyone the opportunity to easily share the stories they wish to tell." And we know WotC's initial decisions actively tried to shut down almost everyone's opportunity to share the stories they wish to tell. So it seemed like Critical Role was kinda low-key showing support for the community. But now, we have some more clarity thanks to this interview with Matt and Marisha conducted by Linda Codega, the same Gizmodo journalist who broke the story about WotC trying to revoke the OGL. And Linda asks 3 big questions about Critical Role, going independent from larger corporations, perhaps making their own system, and what they really think about Open D&D. Disclaimer: the interview audio is not very good, especially later in the video. It sounds like they had a boom mic pointed at Matt and Marisha, but not Linda when they asked these questions, and there's music playing on top of it all. So I'm going to recite the questions, then play Matt and Marisha's responses. First one, do you guys see yourselves pursuing independence as a goal in the future from other systems or larger corporations?
Well, we do have Darrington Press,
Right.
which is our game publishing wing side of the company, and definitely kind of in the same vein of video games. Games take time and effort and resources to develop.
Linda only asked if they're pursuing independence from other systems or corporations, and Marisha goes right into this discussion of what it takes to develop one's own system. And she goes on to say Critical Role is very focused on quality.
We just want to get it right.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of things, once again, kind of coming in the future from Darrington Press.
We just want to get it right. So definitely a lot of things coming in the future from Darrington Press. I don't know how to take that besides they are either heavily considering creating their own system or it's already in the works, but it's going to take a long time either way. But Linda has the opening, and they pull no punches, asking, do you guys see yourselves making your own system?
Man, that would be rad. If ever the opportunity were to, arise with the right people and the right design, and it made sense for the type of, show we were doing, then I would love that.
It's something that excites us.
It excites them. It would take the right people, the right design, and it would have to make sense for the show. Or as Matt first put it,
man, that would be rad.
Now, please allow me to really read heavily into Matt's gut reaction about designing Critical Role's own TTRPG by comparing it to the gut reaction of their fellow cast member and Critical Role CEO, Travis Willingham, when he coyly responded to a different pointed question in another recent interview about a different, huge project that he was not technically able to reveal yet, the launch of Critical Role's second animated series, The Mighty Nine. From comicbook.com, journalist Christian Hoffer asks,
So, with the success of Legend of Vox Machina, do you think we're going to get to a point where we're going to see animated Vox Machina, animated Mighty Nine hit the screens in the same year? Not at all a leading question.
Gosh, wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be fun.
Woo.
Gosh, wouldn't that be amazing? Then, like 2 days later, we got the official announcement for the Mighty Nine animated series. Please listen to this.
Gosh, wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be fun.
Woo.
Man, that would be rad.
Gosh, wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be fun.
Woo.
Man, that would be rad.
I know I'm making assumptions, but I feel like this might be Critical Role speech for, yes, we're already working on it. And it gets better when Marisha follows it up with this.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of talks there as well in terms of like, what would we want to get out of, our own system or a role-playing game that really does feel very Critical Role.
There's been a lot of talks about making a system that feels like Critical Role. I know I'm reading into this, but I think it's in the works. Sure, it'll probably be a long time until we even get an announcement, but we're gonna get into the OGL stuff now. Before we do, please leave a comment below telling me what you think about a Critical Role RPG. Do you think it's in the works? Am I totally delusional? If there is going to be one, do you think it would be like D&D? Would you want to try it out? Then, Matt goes on to say how part of the beauty of this hobby is all the variety and the number of games out there that can support different styles of play, and how some of those independent creators deserve more. And Linda is listening. They go right for the knockout. Do you guys have any opinions on the Open D&D movement that's currently happening in the fandom? And Matt is literally stunned. That's a 6-second round of hesitation, but we get some tension-diffusing laughter from Marisha, and then she continues, mentioning Critical Role's more vague initial statement, but then she elaborates.
We thoroughly believe that the more systems, the more RPG games that are out there, the more variety that people have to choose from, that only strengthens the entire community.
Saying the community is stronger with more variety, thus implying that they believe a lack of variety or one game dominating the space would weaken the community. Let's continue.
Going forward, it's important to have an environment that does allow these creators, independent, big, small, to create and make new things. And whichever way allows the community to do that, that's where we're going to stand and support.
Whichever way allows creators to have the freedom to create is what Critical Role will support. This makes me pretty convinced that they did not agree to the initial OGL changes, and honestly, their disapproval could have had as much of an impact on WotC's recent decision-making as every tweet and video about Open D&D combined. These awesome people giving WotC that reality check is huge, and Marisha really sends it home here.
We ourselves started as small indie creators and have continued to grow and take off from there. So, we're never going to forget our roots.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in watching where it goes.
So now at the head of a multi-million-dollar company, they still remember that only 7-ish years ago, they were technically indie RPG creators too, and they seem like they don't want to close that door behind them, which is amazing. And yes, I think that long hesitation from Matt was a difficult moment of self-restraint where he probably wanted to speak out for the community, maybe even against WotC's initial moves, but they're clearly walking a knife's edge between the household name of D&D, whose coattails they rode to get started, and the community of tens of thousands of creators and millions of viewers who look up to them. I do not envy their position, and I do not in any way condone people telling them what to do or say. Ultimately, they have limitations, and within those limitations, I'm trusting them to do their best to stay true to their fans, true to their own employees who depend on them, and true to the folks at WotC who they've worked alongside for years. But we know what we need to do. Keep supporting indie creators. You can help me by getting one of these awesome remaining sets of limited edition Bob World Builder metal dice. Save 18% with code BOB in the link below. Or, just as importantly, like this video, share it with your game group, and watch this one about some D&D alternatives that I think you'll like. Thank you for your support, and keep building.